Hey everybody, it's Mike Venus and I'm back. Now I ain't gonna tell you how to make your beats, but I'm gonna give you some tips for you to make a fire beat. Alright. Number one, BPM. What's BPM? That means beats per measure, right? What does how would that affect the beat? That affects the tempo. Now, there's two ways you can do this. Most people make their beats in double time. What does it mean, double time? Right? Double time will mean, like, for an example, this beat is at 83 BPMs, but it feels faster than that. Right? How is that? Some call syncopation. Right? What's syncopation? That's the notes between the beats. Right? So if a measure is counted in quarters, right? Usually 4/4. That's what most hip hop is made in, right? The beats between that would be like 1/8, 1/16, 1/32s, 1/64s, right? So you want to add some type of syncopation. Usually people put it with their hats, right? Because the hats is more give off a high frequency, and it also helps to move the beat to make it feel like it's pushing forward. Even though 83 is typically a moderate or even kind of a slow tempo for more like classic hip hop than modern hip hop, which is more faster. But you might say, well, it don't sound like it's slow. Another trick that people do, usually people that got Fruity Loops, they usually do this. They put gross beat, which is a halftime simulation that if they make a beat, let's say what's double this 166, right? 83, yeah, plus or 83 times 2 is 166, right? Which is moderately fast, right? If I played it at 163, right? But they will put the halftime on there to make it drop back down to where it feels more at the pace of something that you will listen to on the radio. Because usually the music that be on the radio usually range from the 80s BPM to maybe like mid to high 90s. You know what I'm saying? Nothing really super fast, right? This is more like a play on the ears. But internally is what you feel, that's the BPM. So you're going to feel it anyway if it's set, they made the beat at 166, but it says 83 because of the halftime, you still going to feel the 166, giving you that adrenaline, you know what I'm saying? Right? It's a cigar. It's a little small ass one too. All right, another tip. So we already covered BPM, syncopation. Another thing you want to do is key signature. Not keys like you playing an instrument, but key signature in the sense of what overall tonal vibe are you getting? The way I approach it is that keys are like emotions, right? That's how I look at scales too, right? So I don't get, even though I know theory, I don't really get caught up in that much. I kind of go off of how does it make me feel, right? Start this shit over, right? So the best keys, give me the secret sauce. The best keys to make the type of hip hop that is going to get people hyped or aggressive or whatever is the key of C, the key of C sharp slash D flat, D, D sharp slash E flat, right? Now I'm gonna break that down, right? Why? I went into this a little bit, right? Those keys or those notes that are kind of centered around those type of tonals hit the part of the body that stimulate that type of more like what's the word? Sensual, aggressive, carnal type energy, which has its place. You know what I'm saying? You do any keys above that, it's gonna get more into the emotional in the sense of like or like dreamy type shit. You know what I'm saying? Anything above, we'll go E or up as your tonal or key center, right? So remember, key of C, C sharp slash D flat, D, D sharp slash E flat, and always in minor, right? Right? And minor, right? Because minor typically have a more moody feel to it, right? Now this song is made in the key of C harmonic minor, right? So if we talking about it's C minor, it's E flat, so it's D sharp, right? If we talking about major, okay? But that type of feel gives it more of a grounding feel. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you, talk about shit that's carnal as fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call the song Shit Talk. Because I can imagine myself or anybody else that raps or rhymes or whatever get on this shit and be talking all types of shit, shit about their jewelry, shit about the women, their car, all material type shit that they might do to you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Uh, shit you won't do, nigga. All that type of shit, right? So remember that. Fourth, right? And I'm gonna wrap it up. Sound selection, right? If you're making a beat that you know that a person is intended for someone to rap or spit on, right? You want to be very selective on your sounds, right? You don't want to flood it with too many things going on, right? Because you got to take in consideration that the vocalist, the rapper, right, the singer, whoever, is one of the instruments, right? So this is important when you go to make beats. Please take notes. Right? Start this shit over again. Right? So, for an example with this beat, you know when it's the hook and you know when it is the verse. Right? That's the intro. Right? My intros usually be about 8 bars. I can cut it down to 4, but we gonna go 8. Right? That's the hook. Right? The hook gonna have everything in it. But whenever you do your hook, right, instrumentally wise, when you're making the beat, always take into consideration the rapper. All right. So my hooks usually is 8 bars, right? Right? Now that's the verse. My verses is typically 16. I kind of take a more classic hip hop beat structural approach to making beats. But yeah. At this pace, 16 gonna feel like 8. So I don't expect somebody to really be on here just going, unless they spit fast. If they spit kind of slow and moderate, they gonna make their bars count. Then saying a bunch of gibberish because you talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's the other thing? When you do your verse, now this is the pre-chorus, this is the breakdown, going back into the hook. So that the hook sounds more powerful, I drop the sounds down to 1 sound. So when it comes back in, it's hit on the one. You know what I'm saying? Just hit it. Okay? So, intro, you can go intro into verse, but I typically go intro, hook, because I want you to hook your ass in off the rip, verse, maybe a small breakdown, pre-chorus. Person can still be talking shit, or we just let the music kind of decrease in energy, then come back with energy with the hook. You understand? And I usually structure for two verses because most of the time you rarely gonna get a song where a person spits a hook and then spit a verse. That's rarity. They usually spit two verses, right? And then towards the after the second verse, I do the hook twice, and then the outro. The outro is similar to the intro, so just deconstruct that, reverse and deconstruct. So my intro was like the pad thing and the melody, that sound, but now it's just working down to the pad, right? Right, and don't feel find the balance. What I mean, you don't want to be too extreme to the right where you got too much shit going on in it that it just sounds like a chaotic hot mess, right? But then you don't want to be to the left where shit's so stripped down, even with the vocalist, it still feel incomplete. You want to find a balance. So in this song, I use 4 tracks, right? Drum loop, added a bass, sub bass, the little vocal pad, and then the chords, I arpeggiated it so it sounds melodic as well. That's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and that's the beat. The vocalist will sit somewhere in the middle. And that's it. You know, don't make this shit too complicated. So let's recap. Number 1, BPM. If you're gonna make a beat, if you can't play at double time, use syncopation, the beats between the beats, to make it sound faster than what it is, right? The keys to play in: minor, C, D, C sharp, D flat, D, D sharp, E flat, right? Stay around there, make it minor, make the BPM with some speed to it, right? You're good, right? And if it sounds too fast, slap some halftime on it, right? I don't really like the halftime in the MPC or the Forest because it only loops it for 4 bars, and I need halftime if I'm gonna do it like that over the whole track, right? Song structure, right? Do an intro, verse, hook, verse, hook, outro, or reverse it. It doesn't matter. However you want to put it together, right? Energy. Usually in the intro and the outro, there's little to no energy, right? Typically maybe 1 or 2 sounds. You know, you don't have to go super hard, right? Hook, everything, full energy. Verse, lower the energy and build it up to the hook. Because you don't have to have a pre-chorus. I usually add one. That's from me playing years of guitar. And there you go. You know what I'm saying? You can do that in any DAW, MPC, Force, whatever. But that's some tips. Help you make a fire beat. This shit hard right here. Right? And with that, y'all be blessed. Mike out.